Alright, welcome back to my trailer. Let's see, that's what we came here to see. So this is my Tekno SCT48 Nitro project that I've been working on. You've probably seen a few of them on Facebook through the Tekno page. I know Chasen has been working on an electric one. There's a few others with them as well, but I wanted to be a little different. We had to have the Nitro in there because, you know, Nitro, all the things. I guess that's an electric buggy, but whatever. So onto the truck. So the first thing you'll notice, it's got an Arma Mojave 4S body. We have the Proline Mirage 7th scale tires on there. I just took some white paint just to kind of, you know, make them pop a little bit, make them not so bland looking in there. Let's see, what else? The outside of the body, there's nothing special about the body aside from that. You've seen one Arma body, you've seen them all. But underneath, this is what we have. It should look familiar if you've ever seen a Tekno car before. It literally has the chassis of a truggy mated to the buggy front and rear suspension. Yeah, front rear, got it. So you can kind of see that in here. The donor vehicle was a 2.0, so there's titanium links here for the camber links. That's not a permanent thing. May have stolen it from the Nitro buggy for yesterday's run, just so the camber positions could be correct. Because again, it started as a 2.0, and goodness, there we go. These are way too short to work with the 2.1, 2.2 style hubs that I transplanted onto here. So everything on this truck as far as the front and rear ends, it's all 2.2 stuff, except for the diffs. I haven't gone inside the diffs and changed those up at all. They're still 2.0 stuff. Not really all that worried. Same with the center diff. It does appear to have a carbon fiber top plate, but that is 2.0 stuff in there too. Whenever those finally wear out, we'll probably swap them over to the new stuff, but for just the fun truck that this is, it doesn't need to have all that stuff. Case in point, we still have the 2.0 rear shocks on. Maybe in the future I'll put the longer shocks on the back, but I don't see any reason to right now. But once you get the truggy chassis together, what you will have to do, let's see if this guy will stand up nice, but you will have to trim the droop tabs a little bit because the buggy arms are shorter and they'd interfere like with the arm if you didn't trim them down. And we kind of want our full droop, and same thing with the rear. And another thing I had to do with the rear, because this is a 2.0 chassis, and I did go with the lower diff carriers, I did have to clearance the just above where the pin sits, like for the arms. I had to clearance that a little bit just so the arms weren't binding against the chassis plates. Might be able to see evidence of it in there, maybe. Gotta get my screen turned back on so I can see what I'm pointing. Like right in here, you can kind of maybe see where I hit it with the Dremel, just shaving it down to make some room. Then that's all the easy stuff. From there, you just get the short course 410. So the SCT 410 2.0 bumpers and skid plates, they bolt right up, no modifications needed. And for body mounts, I decided to also use the SCT410 2.0. And what I did was drill for the 2 holes here to be used. And then for the rear mounts, I drilled 2 holes here to pick up the body mount. And it all works from there. That was really probably, I wouldn't say the hardest part. I just, took tape, marked where the holes were on the tape, slapped it up on the tower, and then just drilled where the holes landed. And I should still be able to retain all my shock position adjustments. That's literally it. So you really just need a donor buggy, electric or nitro, and then you just get the rear drive shaft from a truggy, the electric or nitro, whatever way you're going, and you just combine them together. That's about it. This truck does weigh quite a bit. When I had it on the scale, I might throw it into the video right here, like when I edit it, but I believe it was 80 grams heavier than a truggy, which, I mean, it makes sense. It's all the same nitro stuff that's going on the center, and it's just the buggy suspension, then the heavier body, so that makes sense, plus the addition of the bumpers. It did scale out pretty well as what too. I believe it was like just about as close to 50-50 weight distribution as you could ever hope, and it drove actually really well on the track. The tires, of course, that style of tire on track, you're not going to have the best traction in the world, but it was really fun to just slide around and just bomb around. Like, it drove like a buggy out on the track. The typical parachuting effect you get with a buggy just wasn't there, because the tires are just so tall. Just to put in the scale here, tape measure, these are like 5-inch tires all day every day, about 5 1/8 inch, and a truggy tire, they're usually about 5.5 inches roughly, depending on tread. So I mean, there's being a belted tire too, like, they do have some weight to them, and it had no problems controlling the attitude of the truck midair, like with the throttle and brake. You might actually see it in the video of the running footage I throw up as well. Yeah, not a whole lot else to say about it. It's a really fun truck. It handled everything better than a typical 10 scale would when it comes to the rough. I would love to have actual race tires on it, but if we take a buggy tire, it's quite a bit shorter and would look a little funky. It'd be like that. That wouldn't be right, of course. It's a truck. You can't have small tires on a truck. For those asking, can you put a truggy tire on it? I mean, you'd probably be limited to the steering angle of like that. But I mean, if you really have that question, like, hey, do truggy tires fit? They're almost like just shy of 1/2 inch taller, so it will rub the body for sure. But you could just throw your truggy tires onto a buggy and see how much steering it got, and that would kind of be your answer. No, don't do it. Yeah, if there's any other questions, just let me know and I'll try to answer them. Again, this was a very fun truck to build, very, very fun truck to run, and I kind of hope to put on the track more often. Like, it would be really cool to see like a class of these big old boys bombing around, and just for comparison's sake here, let me see if I can make some room. Yeah, that'll work. Get out of the way. We don't need you there. Just for comparison's sake, let's set the big boy over here where I have a little bit more room. And we'll grab my boy's Tekno SCT48 2.0. And yeah, they're wee bit different. Wee bit different. Like this is an 8-pound truck with a battery ready to go. This is, near as I can tell, like a little over 10 pounds. You can do the math for yourself with the picture from the scales that I put up. But I believe it's something like 10.2 pounds, something close to that. But you can see just how, I might have to scoot this over a little, but if we put these axle to axle, it's a wee bit shorter. Like, you got baby short course, big short course. It's the extra length, the extra weight really helps make these handle the outdoor tracks so much better. Like, it's a lot of fun. If the idea of a big old truck is exciting to you, do it. Buy one. I suppose if you wanted to do the quick and easy route, you could get the Arrma Mojave 4S somewhere and just put that on the track. Or if you want to go the fun route and just build your own, you can go off a Tekno project like I did. I have a hard time imagining you couldn't do the same thing with, like, say, TLR or Mugen, Hot Bodies, Associated, any company really. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put this up one-handed. Any company that sells, both the competition buggy and truggy, I have a hard time believing you couldn't do the same thing. Just take the buggy and put the truggy chassis underneath of it, and then just figure out your bumpers and body mounts from there. Most buggies are about the same width, truggies are the same length these days. Typically they share parts between the buggies and truggies, just like Tekno does, I think. So I don't see why not. I know I saw there was one guy doing it with a TLR. I would love to see more wild people like me just, taking their favorite company and taking a retired chassis they had from a truggy and a buggy that they couldn't sell, and just throwing one together, see what they can do. Because I'm telling you, that's fun. Alright. Well, if there is anything else, just let me know. I'll try to answer it. I'm always down to answer questions. But until then, I guess I'll be seeing you guys at the tracks. Later. I mean, seriously though, think about it. How cool would it be to see a grid of trucks just like this, 10-pound trucks, sliding around for 20 minutes, just banging doors off each other, throwing the elbows out? That would be wild.